So while I am waiting for this video to get its checks approved so we can publish it without any interference on the ads, I wanted to respond to an article that absolutely blew me away. This was from a few days ago, and I was kind of debating amongst myself, like, hey, do we actually talk about this? Is this worth it to make a video about on the YouTube channel? I mean, it's a crazy idea. A crazy set of ideas, but is it actually tangible enough to make a video commentary about? And I was like, you know what? It's July 14th, 2025. We are in the dog days of summer. This is supposed to be a dead period in regards to NHL activity. So I'm kind of chomping at anything that's coming my way these days. Let's head over, as I wait here one more time for this video to finish publishing, but let's head over to an article posted on octopusthrower.com by Drew Dukowski. This was from about a week ago, July 7th, 2025, and the article asks the question, could these trade targets be the answer for the Detroit Red Wings? After missing out on the likes of Marner and Ehlers, GM Steve Yzerman and the Detroit Red Wings turned their eyes to the trade market in search of improvements. And you can't see it right now on the video, but you probably saw it in the title and the thumbnail of this video on YouTube. But the picture, oh boy, okay, let's talk about the idea of the Red Wings getting this guy, Pasta, baby. Let's actually read a bit of the piece, though, just so we can understand Dukowski's thesis here. Yada, yada, yada. The peak of free agency is now concluded. The Red Wings still need reinforcements. Steve Yzerman admitted that Detroit is still looking for a top-line winger and even a first or a second-pair D-man. He attempted to fill those holes through free agency, but struck out without being given a real opportunity. Stars like Marner were basically already signed before free agency began, while others like Nikolai Ehlers simply refused the mere idea of coming to Detroit. The only way to make the Red Wings a premier free agency destination again is for the team to begin winning and consistently making the playoffs. And to do that, Detroit is banking on their strong prospect system to pay dividends, and the team will also likely need to bring in some high-end talent through trades. Here are some notable players who are either already available for trade or could become available during the 25-26 season and would immediately improve the Wings. Now, okay. First name is Jason Robertson. He's not a new topic, I would say. We have made a few video commentaries discussing the idea of J-Rob heading over to Detroit already. I mean, the biggest deal with Jason Robertson is the contract. The guy needs a new deal for 2026 and beyond. Right now, he is signed on till the end of this season, making $7.75 at 25 years old. Big, powerful skater and a guy with a good shot, but he's been at 80 points the past 2 years. 109 points in the first season of that $7 million AAV contract, though. So if you want to re-sign Jason Robertson, you want to double up this guy, give him another contract, the question is he an 80-point guy who just had a really good season, or is he a really good 100-plus point guy who's had 2 pretty subpar seasons comparative to those expectations? How much do you pay this guy? And are you able to pay this guy if you're Dallas? You just gave the moon and the stars for Mikko Rantanen, dollar-wise and trade-wise. So do you still have enough money to give Jason Robertson the appropriate dollar amount that he might want, or what he deserves, potentially? So, Jason Robertson, of course, is a name that is being talked about here for the Red Wings. Just imagining him on the top line with Larkin and Raymond would add so much depth for the Red Wings' top 6. If he becomes available, the Red Wings should be one of the first teams to make an offer. The draft picks and prospects Yzerman can package will likely be better than almost any other offer the Stars would receive. Really? I think Montreal could probably step in and give a really good package too. Let's not talk about the Habs. The article talks about Bowen Byram, which is also not necessarily a new conversation. We've already discussed Bowen Byram's name linked to different teams around the NHL. But I wanted to read this. David Pastrnak. Oh boy. This is the big long shot that everybody's going to click on this video to hear about. It's a pretty big assessment. Let's go out there and dive into it. David Pastrnak is one of the biggest stars in the NHL, and him joining the Red Wings would transform the team. He has had at least 34 goals in every season since 2016-17, except the COVID-shortened 2020-2021 season. He is coming off of 4 straight seasons of 40-plus goals and 3 consecutive seasons of 106-plus points. Considering his stature in hockey, it may be hard to imagine Pasta leaving the Bruins, but most probably said the same thing last year about Brad Marchand. The reality is the Bruins are a mess from the front office down. They made some questionable signings in free agency like Jeannot, and now have a weird mix of young players and aging veterans that typically does not lead to a successful NHL season. Honestly, I have a little bit of an issue with the way the article is being written here. I think for Brad Marchand, it was a little easier to think about him getting traded because the guy's contract was expiring and he needed a new deal. Plus, the fact that the Bruins were so bad this previous year opened the door very quickly, I would say, to the idea of Marchand becoming a rental-like asset. But for David Pastrnak, this guy signed on till the end of 2031, making $11.25 million. He's worth it, debatably. I mean, look at this. 113 points, 110 points, 106 points. He's a monster, this David Pastrnak is. 60 goals 2 years ago, 40-plus goals the prior 2 years on a bad Bruins team. He has been so good, and just because Brad Marchand got traded doesn't mean that David Pastrnak is going to attain anywhere near the same level of trade accessibility. Even if the team is being written about here like, oh, they've got this weird mix of young guys and old guys, that doesn't really lead to success. I just don't really agree with that, but let's continue here. Amidst all this, they also have arguably the best pure goal scorer currently playing hockey in Pastrnak. Could the Bruins decide to send Pasta elsewhere to bring in a massive trade haul and jumpstart their rebuild? It doesn't take too much imagination to see that happening. As with any trade of this magnitude, it would have to come with risks with the Red Wings. On top of having to unload high draft picks and top prospects, Pastrnak also has an $11.25 million AAV and is signed through 2031. Okay, that's not an issue. He's that good. This would be a sizable commitment to a 29-year-old. Yes, that is true. He will be, 35 when the contract expires? But one that is probably still worth it for a team like Detroit that desperately needs goal scoring and has cap space. Pastrnak also has a no-move clause, meaning he has to agree to where the Bruins choose to send him. Since he'll likely want to go to a contending team, the Wings will need to have a strong start to the year to entice Pastrnak to join by the trade deadline. A lot needs to go Detroit's way to have any hope of bringing him in, yet it is not impossible, and, at the very least, it's fun to imagine the possibility. Yeah, okay, that last part I'll agree with for sure. It's fun to imagine whether or not Pastrnak could actually head over to Detroit. But like Dukowski says, a lot needs to go right. The Bruins need to totally stink, and the Red Wings need to come out of the gates cooking in order for David Pastrnak to even be intrigued with the idea of heading over to Detroit. If the Red Wings are already looking hot, and then they add a 100-point, 40-goal guy in Pastrnak, the rest of the NHL better watch out. The Red Wings could be third or second place territory in the Atlantic type of material here. Obviously, I'm not guaranteeing that happens, but it looks pretty good. So, despite the fact that it is kind of, ridiculous to think about David Pastrnak as a potential Red Wings trade opportunity, I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Detroit Red Wings potentially going after David Pastrnak and or Jason Robertson? We can toss his name in there as well because, of course, he's a big fish too. Do you think this is reasonable? Do you think this is realistic? What are the odds of this happening in your opinion? And what do you think the trade cost would be? Let me know in the comment section all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.